All right, let's bring in our headliner tonight. It was 25 years ago today, November 24th, 2000, when LaVell Edwards coached his final game at BYU. It was dramatic come-from-behind victory against Utah at Eccles Stadium. Brandon Doman was the quarterback who pulled it off. It's our pleasure to have Brandon back on the Wise Guys tonight. Brandon, good to see you.
Hey,
there you are.
Good evening to you guys. I apologize for my late entry here. It's been quite an afternoon, so I'm sorry about that.
We're just glad to have you. 25 years ago, does it feel that long, or does it feel like more like yesterday?
Well, I'm looking at myself in that picture, and it clearly has been 25 years for sure.
We don't even talk about how many years it's been for me, Brandon. So 25 seems like not that many to me, honestly. So
when you think of milestones and things in your life, and of course in LaVell's 25 years, in many ways, as we watch the highlights, it doesn't feel like it was 25 years ago, especially as we talk stories and strategies on that last drive. But that's a pretty big milestone, and you got LaVell his last win, and no one can take that away from you no matter what. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I've said this a number of times. I just feel so grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. I recognize that was a unique blessing in my life. So,
do you still remember what that felt like when you dove across the goal line to give BYU that go-ahead touchdown with 23 seconds left? What went through your head at that time?
Well, I look back at it now and watch it on TV, and I'm just grateful they don't have instant replay. They did not have instant replay, because I'm sure they would have reviewed the heck out of that, and it was awfully close as I fell across the goal line. But I'll never forget Robbie Bosco coming into the huddle and telling us that we were going to run a QB sweep right. We didn't even have that in the playbook. I never heard that in my 4 years there, 3 years there. And he said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put, Luke here and Tavita here, and Kalani was on the field as well. And we're going to run this QB sweep. And those guys, if you go back and watch that play, they sold out on their blocks. It was such a fun thing to watch my teammates just give it everything they had on that play to make sure that I got across that goal line. And I was the beneficiary of being around some pretty unbelievable guys in that moment.
Well, Brandon, let's go back a few plays. It's 4th and 13 at your own 17-yard line. What were you thinking when you broke the huddle there? Now you're behind. You're a long ways away. It's 4th and long, and you're still the quarterback, and you got to do something. What was going on in your mind?
I don't think a true competitor and somebody that believes in themselves and believes in their team ever thinks they're ever out of the game. And so, no matter the circumstance, every time we walked back into that huddle, there was a continuous belief that somehow, some way, we were going to figure it out. And I remember rolling out to the left and looking out. They were in a prevent style defense, and there was a little hole out by the hash mark about 35 yards down the field, and I figured the only chance that Jonathan Pittman had to get that pass was if I would throw it into that dead spot. And sure enough, he retraced his tracks and got into that space and made the play. So it was one of those moments in our lives, in my life, that usually those things don't happen. So it was one of those miraculous moments for sure.
But Brandon, that wasn't the only,
There's
it's like,
more.
yeah, you completed that one, and then you hit Jonathan again on the next play for almost the exact same gain, like 36-36. Now what's going through your head? Because it's unlikely to get one like that in that scenario, but how about back-to-back?
Well, Jonathan clearly was a gamer, and he wanted the ball. We were running down the field. Now we're in a 2-minute drive. And as we're running down the field, I've got to get a play call in, and they're signaling from the sideline they wanted me to run 64, which you know what that is, Blaine. We were just going to run
outs.
10-yard speed outs and try and get the ball to the sideline and get the clock to stop. And as I was signaling that, I was holding out the number 4, and that just meant 64. If we shook our hands, then we were saying 54. But Jonathan Pittman got the 64 signal from me, and he looked over at me and waved me off and started shaking his hand down like this. I'm trying to get it in the camera.
Yeah.
Which meant 58.
Which fade,
yeah. Yeah, he was going to run a fade. He was going to run an outside go route on the sideline. Ben Horton was on the field side, and he got this 64 signal and ran his 10-yard out. So I dropped back and was preparing to throw the 64 to the field to Ben, and I had all but written off Jonathan because he wasn't doing what I was asking him to do. And man, I stuck my foot in the ground. And I threw the 58 to the sideline. I still to this day don't know why I did it, but I think you follow your instincts, you follow your gut, and you're trying to make a play. And in that moment, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go right back to this guy and throw it up to him. And he tippy-toed on the sideline, made the play, and then Luke Staley, handoff to Luke Staley, and he runs the ball down to the 4-yard line, and we call a timeout. And Robbie, like I said, Coach Bosco comes out there and tells us we're running a QB sweep right, and we scored the touchdown. Then we had to go for 2 because we were only up by 5 at that point, and we did a sprint. We call it kind of a sprint right option. And Soren Halliday was just running across the goal line, a little snag route, and the corner route wasn't open, and I could see that I had a little small window to throw it in there to Soren Halliday, and he caught it for the 2-point conversion, which gave us a ton of confidence going into to finish that game out right.
Brandon, as you're describing this, we've eliminated 25 years, right?
Yeah.
We're now right back in it.
And well, here's the thing that kills me.
Remember that night?
Yeah.
It was cold, and we're in it now.
It kills me, Brandon, that as you just described that to us, 3 of the plays of the 4 to score the touchdown, you guys kind of made up on the fly. Because Jonathan kind of retraced his steps and didn't run the actual route. He broke off of his route on the 4th down play. He waved off the route that you were supposed to call on the 64 and ran the 58. And you decide you're not going to throw it to him, but you do anyhow, and he makes the play. And then you make up a play almost like you drew it in the dirt on the touchdown run. How common is that? You coached a long time too. For you to do 3 plays that really aren't the plays that you've designed and practiced, and for those all to be successful to get in and get a touchdown to win this game.
Well, I think coaches sometimes take too much credit and too much blame. You just got to make sure that you recruit players, coach them up right, and then let them go play. And in that instance, we had plenty of good players, and you just need to trust in the preparation and know that we're ready to play, and then let us go play. And players are going to make plays, and in those situations, you want the ball in the hands of your guys that are going to be playmakers. And you look at Jonathan Pittman and Luke Staley, and the coaches trust that I could get the ball into the end zone, and I'm grateful that they did, and I'm grateful that I had that opportunity. But anytime you watch great football teams, they've got really good players making really good plays, and I had to prove myself that I could make plays and that they would put me in a position to participate there. And I just, like I said, I'm grateful I got to do it. And like the coaches, they're on the sideline just hoping like mad that we're going to make whatever play we got to make, and that we're not going to, mess it up and throw the ball to the opposing team, and which I've done in my lifetime. But in those moments when it needed to get done, when we had to make a big play, again, I count myself really blessed that I got to be on the field at that time.
Former BYU and 49ers quarterback Brandon Doman's on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and Eddie. The more BYU plays and wins, LaVell's legacy continues to grow. What was it about him that still has him larger than life, even 9 years after his passing and 25 years after his final game?
It's that his legacy keeps growing. Our love for him keeps getting bigger. And it says a lot about him as a human being, that as more time passes, the more we love him and the more we miss him and the more gratitude we have for him. He knew us by name. He knew our wives by name. His wife was so unusual, so great. He was larger than life then. And those of us that got to play on his team and experience what he brought to college football, what he brought to BYU, it's, and Blaine would say it, just what a blessing we've been given to be a part of it.
couple more questions. We know you have a commitment coming up here. We appreciate your time. Bear Bachmeier, 11 rushing touchdowns, no turnovers last 2 games, TCU and Cincinnati. As you've watched him progress over the season, and we last talked to you in August, what have you seen?
So impressive. I mean, for a freshman to do what he's doing, I've seen enough football in my life, and in August I questioned whether or not he was capable of doing it. But kudos to the coaching staff. They knew him. They recruited him. They had enough background to know who this young man is and what he was all about, and just the grit, the stick-to-itiveness, the intellectual capacity that he has to manage college football at his age and the mature manner in which he does that is really rare. It's not very common, and he's uncommon. And he's one of those kinds of football players and one of those kinds of human beings, frankly. And BYU is lucky to have him on their team. And now I know why they picked him. They picked the right guy.
Brandon, BYU's 21-3 over the last 2 seasons. As a Power 4 program, playing a schedule like you and I never imagined or never played against, right? 10-1 at the moment this season. Over that span, what's impressed you the most about this BYU program?
Well, they've been able to stay healthy, and so their training staff, their weight room efforts, their athletic training group staff, all the conditioning and nutrition and everything goes in. There's such a massive staff of people behind those players, and for the most part, they've kept them healthy. Their quarterback has stayed healthy. They've been able to not have to go too far into their depth chart, because their depth chart is still waning. They still have some weak spots in that depth chart that they're still growing and developing. But 2 seasons like this, to be able to maintain, reasonably good health and maintain a quarterback that can finish the season, that's playing the way these 2 quarterbacks played the last 2 years, is remarkable. And then Jay Hill and that defense has been unbelievable. And the fact that he's been able to put back-to-back seasons like this, the turnover margin, the takeaways, there's been so many positive things that have happened. It's now enhancing their ability to recruit, and so their depth chart's just going to continue to get better. And if they manage the NIL appropriately, like getting Tanu Vasa in here, some other key components to the team when they need it, when they've needed it, I think they've just done a remarkable job.
Let's finish with this, Brandon. From the Domans to all of Cougar Nation, what is your Thanksgiving wish for everybody?
Big 12 championship game, December 6th, 11 a.m. in Dallas, Texas. That's the wish. And hopefully we'll see y'all down there.
I'll be honest.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say peace and love and compassion for everybody, and we went right to Arlington, which I shouldn't be surprised, because it's within their grasp, right? That this is as close as they've been, like ever, right? It's right here.
Yeah, it's there for the taking, and I think they have the right mindset. You watch Kalani and the way that the way he's leading this team, and I think their mindset's right, and I think we'll see a good, solid football team on Saturday. They have a lot to prove. No one believes in them, so there's no reason for them to be overconfident right now, because all the pundits out there don't want to believe in them anyways.
Yeah.
They already want to write them off, so they have everything in the world to play for on Saturday, and they need to play like that on Saturday and put themselves in the championship game.
Mohan Rai on the stream in from Jakarta, Indonesia, to listen to Brandon Doman tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, and a great friend of ours in the program, our best to Alicia and your family. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thanks for giving us some time tonight.
Likewise, all the best.
Thanks,
Take
Brandon.
care.